Hey everyone, this is James Hucks from Hucks Law Firm. Recently I spoke about a nationwide push to grant businesses immunity in instances related to COVID-19. This push wasn't just on the nationwide level, it was also on the state and local level. Unfortunately, Ohio beat the federal government to the punch here, and we did that by signing House Bill 606 into law. What House Bill 606 does is it grants immunity for businesses from civil actions related in whole or in part to COVID-19 or transmissions or contractions of COVID-19. Even though that will create some issues for employees, there is a silver lining in that you may be able to bring a cause of action or impose liability for employers' misconduct if you're able to show that the conduct was reckless, if you can show that it was intentional, or if you can show that the conduct was willful or wanton. Now, intentional and willful and wanton are not defined in House Bill 606, and that's because they're general attorney terms that attorneys just know what the definitions are. But reckless disregard is defined in House Bill 606. And essentially it says that reckless disregard is shown by having a heedless indifference and disregarding substantial and unjustifiable risk. So heedless indifference means you just don't care. And you disregard the risk, and the risk is substantial, meaning it's a big risk, very big risk, and unjustifiable, meaning there's no reason why you should have ever taken that risk. So it's a heedless indifference to and disregarding of a substantial and unjustifiable risk that you will contract COVID-19 or spread COVID-19. That's how you show the reckless disregard. So it's still kind of a high standard, but it is something at least that employees can try to impose liability on the employer if the employer is behaving badly. Another thing that House Bill 606 does is it says that the governor's orders and the health orders and everything that everyone was making sure to diligently follow do not impose any duty of care. So no duty of care makes it extremely difficult to try and pin some liability on a company for their misconduct if they don't have an actual duty of care related to these orders that were put out. It also says you can't submit the orders as evidence, which is another issue. It finally says if you're able to somehow show that the company is liable and they're not going to have an immunity, then you can't bring any class action. So in instances where there might be a lot of people who suffered from the same exact thing, usually we try to do class actions because class actions let everybody resolve everything at once, as opposed to having to bring a lot of individual claims, and maybe some people might not even know how to get to an attorney. So class actions can help with that. But with this provision in House Bill 606, it eliminates the availability of class actions for civil lawsuits related to contraction or spread of COVID-19. So that's not a possibility. What I think is ironic about House Bill 606 is that the short title of it is actually called Protecting Essential Workers from Liability for the Transmission of COVID-19, but the majority of the bill actually focuses on businesses and protecting them. Despite the additional challenges that House Bill 606 presents for employees who are seeking to impose some sort of liability on their employer for their misconduct, there are plenty of employment attorneys like myself who are fighting daily to ensure that workers' rights are upheld. I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news today, but as always, I would rather you all be informed than misinformed. So I thank you all for taking the time to listen to my video today. I hope you all have a great rest of your day and stay healthy and stay safe.